Hey y'all, it's Lucy at Paper Glitter Glue, and somebody asked me some questions about distressing techniques for little houses, so I thought I'd show you just some of the tricks that I do to give a house some personality. This house is one that is designed for maybe Christmas or just another holiday, not Halloween. So in contrast, it's kind of plain, but I've still done a few things to give it some kind of different personality. First, I mix sand with the paint to give it a little extra depth. That's the main thing I did. And then I just wanted to show you, I don't know if you can see it, but the windows are, it's a plastic piece, and I tinted a little bit. I use some alcohol ink. It's just some recycled plastic, and then I just glue it in place. But I also smear it with some with this glossy accents. It's a very clear glue, and it dries really fast, and it makes a little texture, kind of like a stained glass effect or a ripple effect that you see on old-timey windows. So that gives this house, so even though the paint itself isn't distressed, or at least it's not supposed to be, it still has some visual interest. It's not, for the most part, the roof is plain, but for the most part, it's still got a little bit of texture to it, and I think texture is important. And I'll show you another one. This one, I designed an embossed wood file that you can emboss like on a cutting machine, like a Cricut, so it looks like wood. And so I embossed it and then kind of added some extra paint to give it a little extra depth. And let's see, I thought, and this one, this is, oh, what do you call it? It's the one by the sea. Anyway, I can't remember the name of it, but I used embossed wood, and then I distressed the wood and everything, so it was like just this old decrepit house by the sea, like the sea had really aged the house. But I think it gives it a good visual interest. I use some crackle paint here, and then I usually distress the edges, and that's what the other thing I'm going to show you. And you can see it even on the stone house with 3 gables. I didn't do crazy distressing on this one. I mean, not really in the scheme of things, but I edged the sides with just a little bit of brown paint. And I certainly did distressing on the roof. This is covered with grit paste and then different layers of paint. So I've got a little underlayer of orange, and I let a little bit of that show through, and I put some yellow on the top, and just to give it kind of some visual interest. And you can see on the bases, I always do, or I like to do distressing. I don't want them to look flat, so I'll put some different colors on the edge and kind of experiment. And if I mess up, it's paint. I can just paint over it. And you can see this one, I had a lot of trouble with this one. I painted this one like 5 times, and I finally decided to go with a milder, kind of a blander color. And people have sort of talked me into, I'm going to cover it with snow so it looks like a frozen house. So I'm going to put snow on on the eaves, all the gables, and just make it look like kind of a frosty winter house, but not really Christmassy so much, just kind of frosty. Okay, I am making, and here is the house. This is for my Halloween book, my little Halloween houses book, and you can see they're very distressed. I mean, that's kind of the fun part of Halloween. You get to make them sort of as creepy as you want. So all of these edges are kind of distressed, and one nice thing is it sort of covers up mistakes too. Alrighty, here's my newest one. I made a new set of shingles that'll be in the book. And then I decided the colors were a little too flat, so I added some purple. And I'm going to paint the base and show you how the paint that I use works. I like Tim Holtz, for distressing, I like Tim Holtz paints. I just think, I don't know, they just have some kind of magic in them. And I'm not exactly sure what it is. It may be that the paint is very thin. So just put a little here. You see, I mean, it sort of has a watercolor effect. So it goes on. It doesn't make a real smooth layer unless you paint, you know, several coats. But I actually like that, and I'll show you on these two houses. The two houses in process, how that looks. See how it's just kind of a watercolor effect? Let me wipe a little paint off. And I'm going to show you on two dry ones. This one is another one, a Halloween house in progress, but you can kind of see that the paint is variegated. I mean, some places it's thicker and thinner, and I like that. So, and here's another one. This is the medieval house for my new book, for the Halloween book, and it's just got a little bit of variation in the color. That's what I like. But somebody asked me, well, what's so unique about the Tim Holtz, you know, these Ranger distress paints? And I said, you know, I really don't know. So let's put this one back here. So that's kind of our, excuse me, little house. Excuse me. So I'm going to paint some other layers, some other paints. This is Martha Stewart, just her satin multi-surface paint. Let's see what it looks like. And these are, it's exactly the same cardboard that's been primed with gesso. And you can see it's just much thicker. So it may be just that the paint is thinner, but that goes on well. And I like that. I actually like that color. I'm going to use it for the base of another house. Okay. Let's get, and this is kind of a generic craft paint at that I picked up at Michael's, Craft Smart. I think it's kind of their brand of paint. And let's see how it works, how it goes on. Really, and this one's actually, this is I didn't really shake it. Let me see if that matters. Pink is kind of hard. You sort of have to, if you really want to coat with pink, you usually have to do a couple of layers. It's so really, you know, it's not dramatically different, I don't think. But then I'm going to show you the other trick. Put that in my little pink thing. Alrighty, so here's the other way I make distressed surfaces. And I don't know if the Tim Holtz things are still coming this way or still being made, but I like this top. It's got kind of a foam top on it, and that's really how I distress things. Okay, this is the roof for this house. And whenever if you paint before you glue it on, you get this unpainted area. And so I may have to add some blue paint. But this is what I like to do. I use this top and just kind of go around the edge and make kind of a spooky edge and try to, so it looks sort of creepy, like dust is settled, dust and dirt is settled on the edges of the roof. I wear these out. I you know, sometimes I have to buy extra. And they may not sell them this way unless you buy the tops, but that's really one of my favorite techniques for distressing something. Okay, so that gives you an idea, and I've got, this is the chimney that fits in here, and you don't, you know, it's a Halloween house, you really don't want it looking too pristine. So go along the edges, or along the side. And you can also do this with the paintbrush. I think I have my favorite paintbrush. I'll show you my distressing paintbrush, and you'll see why I like it so much. It's because it's very scraggly, so it makes sort of erratic strokes like this. And if you don't like it, you do it too much and you're like, oh, that looks terrible. It's paint. You can paint over it again. So that's actually one of my main techniques, and you know, some of the stuff I do most often. I like to outline sort of the roof line to make it more defined. Sometimes I do it around the windows. I do every edge generally. It's just easy. It's messy. I like it. It's fun. See how it just kind of highlights that opening? And it just gives sort of a patina to the little houses that I really like. You know, and it might not be a style you like, but that's what I like to do. Let me find my favorite paintbrush. Oh, I used it for the purple. Okay, this is my favorite paintbrush, and I can do exactly what we did on, you know, the edges with this, and I may keep a rag around in case I do it too much, if I kind of overdo the distressing. This isn't completely dry, but you know, kind of go around the edge. I just like that effect. So when I put the little house on it, it looks like it's, you know, on a old piece, on a kind of a dirty floor. So that's really what I do for distressing. Those are the two main things. But I texture, so using grit paste or adding or making a, you know, doing a stone texture like on this house, or crackle paint or embossing, but also the paint gives a lot of texture to it. And I was going to show you something about gluing a house together. Somebody asked me my favorite glue. I mentioned this before. I like Fast Grab for structural things, for holding this on, for holding the roof on. But I use Quick Dry, like Quick Dry usually for gluing windows on. And they ask about techniques for, you know, being neat about it. Well, I mean, you could sort of see from this demonstration, neat is not my middle name. But let me show you with them. Okay. And if you want to be more precise, I use Art Glitter Glue. And it comes with a tip like this, so you can just cut off a little bit and it'll come out in a small amount. Or it also comes with a real precision tip, a tiny precision tip. But like I said, and I actually I put a lot of glue on, meaning I glue often, and so I actually can, even though I'm not doing it now, I can usually do a pretty good thin line. This one's almost empty. You also cut the tip off, so you try to cut it so it's a small tip. And these two glues, the Fast Grab and the this Quick Dry, you really need to store them upside down because they're really pretty thick glues and they dry pretty fast. Okay, so I've got that. Let's see, just wipe off a little bit of this excess, and you can actually smooth it if you want. And let's glue it in place. I've got glue on that one. Look at that. Okay. Okay. Alrighty. Well, the other thing is when you are kind of exuberant with the glue, a little too quick with the glue, then I get a Q-tip. Because when the glue dries, it still has just a tiny bit of shine to it. This isn't real shine. It's matte glue, but it still has a little bit of shine to it. And it's not really what I want on my Halloween houses. So just mop it up. Dab it a little bit. And that's it. So that's the timber framing for this. This is the medieval Halloween house. Like I said, it's going to be in my Halloween book. And so these glues are my main glues. Quick Dry, Fast Grab Tacky Glue, Quick Dry Tacky Glue, and Art Glitter Glue. Art Glitter Glue can only be ordered online. So those are just a few tips on distressing and gluing little houses, specifically little Halloween houses. And so I hope you will join me at Paper Glitter Glue and make some fun little projects. Bye!